Hello everybody. I haven't been making videos because I've been busy working on my haunted house websites, just trying to get everything going. And look at the rabbit. See the rabbit? I am in my front yard. Look at the rabbit. And look at my poor car. My insurance company wants to total the car, but I know that a car can be fixed. But currently I am fighting with them about this car because they tried to pay me way too less. And it is what it is. This is my favorite car I've ever owned. You know, the funny thing is the bumper is in complete, perfect condition. You can see where the metal broke there. It definitely can be fixed, but it is what it is. It's a 2019 Dodge Hellcat Redeye, and I love this car. You can already see it's starting to rust where all the paint came off. So what exactly happened to this car, you might be asking yourself. Look how beautiful this car is. It's my favorite color. Look at that. A beautiful Dodge Hellcat Redeye. Nearly 800 horsepower, basically 800 horsepower. They have a stage 2 kit for these cars that'll bump it up almost 100 more. And look at this poor thing. Now, you know what's funny about this car is my bumper is in perfect condition. There's nothing wrong with the bumper. Look at that. It just got popped off. You can see the tail lights are in perfect condition. This whole piece right here definitely can be salvaged. These are definitely salvageable here. Okay. Obviously it needs a dune deck lid. It's possible too, I would think, to get the dents out of this hood. Maybe not. But look at that. It popped off the wide body. Poor thing. Now, believe it or not, it still runs and drives just fine. It runs and drives like nothing happened. I wouldn't say nothing. I think that tire back there is bent out a little bit. But the rest of the car is fine. Well, let's check this thing out. There you go. A Dodge. Technically, I guess these are called 426 Hemis. Supercharged. And then you can see right there. See how there's a red eye in the Demon? That means it's the better version of a Hellcat. What is the difference between this car and a regular Hellcat? Well, this car has a stronger transmission, stronger drive shaft, stronger gears in the back end. It's been tuned up. So you could actually put slicks on this and you don't have to worry about blowing up your rear end or your drive shaft. It's got a lot of the Demon parts on it, basically, when they came out with that car in 2018. But look at that. The hood is in perfect condition. Both doors, this quarter panel, the wheels are fine. Wide body. Everything inside is perfect. This is perfect. I mean, like, I've taken it to 3 body shops. They don't want to fix it because they just want in and outs. But I'm totally convinced the car can be fixed. So basically, a tornado ripped through here. here at my house. And you can see the size of the trees, but it wasn't the main tree that fell on it. It was like a big branch. You see like up there, those big branches. It was like basically one of the bigger ones. And there was 2 trees right here. They had to be cut down. Totally had to be cut down. And unfortunately, these are, you know, supposedly you can count the rings and figure out how old this tree is. My guess is, you know, over 50 years old. Look how big it is. And it was a big branch off this particular tree right here that fell, and my car was sitting right there, and it hit the corner, and then it rolled off. And it wasn't even on the car, it just kind of sort of clipped it. And you can see how big these trees are. Now, I tried to mulch a little bit of this, and guess what it did? It flattened the tire on my lawnmower. Can you believe this? It's like when it rains, it pours, right? When it rains, it pours. So my whole yard is kind of a nightmare, and it is what it is. These 2 trees will get cut down. And now that these trees are gone, I have to like think about what to do here, because I'm actually thinking about building a garage right here. Now, why do I need a garage? Because I have a Lamborghini, I have a Plymouth 446 pack Sublime Green, which is the same color as that, which is the same color as you can see over there, golf cart, Superbird, Plymouth Superbird. And I also have a 1970 Cuda AAR Cuda Sublime Green 346 pack. Now, so the question is what to do with this car. Should I keep it? Try to get it fixed? Right now I'm arguing with my insurance company about the value of the car. Now I seen online, and by the way, this is a pear tree. You see all the pears? I seen online where this particular car was completely taken apart, and it was in 10 times worse condition as this, and they came up with about $40,000, $50,000 in parts. And as you can see, there's nothing wrong with this car. It's in perfect condition, with the exception, and I know it's a big exception, but you can see right here, there's a little bending right here. See that? But other than that, look at that. Totally sad. Now, there was a tornado that ripped through St. Louis, and unfortunately it hit my car. Now look over here, I have another Hellcat, and this one's a Charger. This one is not a Redeye, however. Now I can tell you that I love Dodge Charger Hellcats, and this one's a wide body as well. It also has a sunroof, as you can see. I like the Chargers actually in some ways better than the Challengers because it has 4 doors. Now, as people know, I'm in the Halloween business, and a lot of times I move stuff around. I can literally pack that car with like more boxes than you can believe because the trunks on these cars are so big. So as you can tell, I'm a big Mopar fan, but I loved my Challenger the most. I went all the way to Atlanta, Georgia to get this thing, and I drove it every single day. I mean, I seriously drove it around every single day. And you can see part of the unibody is crushed in there. Although I'm sure that, I'm not positive, but I think a lot of the unibody is in pieces, and you can buy new pieces, and you could probably fix this. And the door still opens, but it's pushed on a little bit. Nothing major. But yeah, look at this. Unbelievable. Perfectly working. I can literally get in it, I can start it, I can drive it. This wheel is not completely, you can almost tell that it's just bent out a little bit, like where it flattened, and that could be a suspension issue. I don't know. But this car could definitely be fixed. I doubt very seriously this car is not going to be fixed. I think somebody's going to buy it and they're going to repair it, because it definitely can be repaired. And then here's my other Hellcat, as I said. Now, you know, for those people, hopefully next week, I'm going to be getting my Superbird back, and I'm going to be getting my Double R Cuda back, and they're both Sublime Green. It'll help ease the pain a little bit. It'll help ease the pain a little bit. Not a ton, because this thing is just a beast. Driving this thing is so much fun. Now, somebody's going to ask, how fast have you had it going? 170 was the fastest that I ever went in this car. Now, this car can do 200. I have no doubt about that. But I was never able to take it to 200 where I felt I could like keep pushing it safely. So you probably wonder, where in the hell can you go 170? Well, first off, the car doesn't take very long to get to 170. Let's start with that. And secondly, when you're driving on a long highway, you have a big gap, you can just drive. And then what I do is I don't pass cars going fast. I just slow down when I get close to traffic. So if I could find a spot where I could get it, try to push it to 200, I definitely would have. But 170 is the tops. And you know, the funny thing is, because that's what the new Challenger is. It's a Dodge Challenger 170. Oh, this poor thing got hit by a tree. And look at that poor thing. And you know what really sucks is the car still drives. It still runs. And I can get in it and drive it. Now, I did drive it from the body shop back to my house, and it drove a little funny, not terrible, but I could kind of tell that this tire wasn't level. So I don't know what that would take to fix it. But you know what I would like to ask for any Mopar fan who sees this video? What should I do with this car? Because I can buy it back from State Farm. I can buy it back. I can try to get it fixed. I can sell it to somebody who wants to fix it. I don't know, leave a comment and tell me what you think. The parts that I know it needs, it's going to need some unibody parts. It's going to need a deck lid. It's going to need some unibody parts for sure, right? And the good news is these didn't get broken. The taillights. This housing, this thing may or may not be broken because I guess it's not broken. Yeah, maybe. No, doesn't look broken. Unless this piece right here attached to this. No, doesn't look like it. Looks like this thing is still good. This piece that wraps around the taillight assembly. This taillight's not coming on. I'm imagining it has something to do with this. Probably a wire is disconnected. Probably this one's pushed out. Obviously, it's going to need a deck lid. Now, see, you know what could be done then? There's the wide body piece. You can come in here and see. Yeah, that looks all still good. You know, obviously, the interior's fine. You can see the trunk deck. Looks good, except for you can tell this part has been pushed down. So I don't know if on a frame rack, if you could keep pulling it until this pulls back where it's supposed to be. I don't know. I really don't know. But I would love to hear comments below to tell me what I should do with this car. And there goes my son. Goodbye, River. Now, a couple other things I wanted to say in this video, not related to my poor car, is today I found out the sad news that a friend, a big haunter, a big haunt, well-known haunt, Ed Trebus of of Detroit passed away a couple days ago. And I wanted to send a condolences to his family. And I'm very sorry to hear this news. This is very sad. Very sad. And you know, I'm hearing that he got stung. It was allergic by bees, and he got stung by a bee, and that did him in. And I'm very, very sorry to hear that. I hope that his haunt continues to operate well into the future. Send my condolences to his brother as well, because I'm known him for a long, long time. And this is just terrible, terrible, sad news. And my condolences go out to his whole entire family. Now, back to talking about my Mopars. I'm gonna make a video of my Superbird. I'm gonna make a video of the AA Arcuda when I get it back. These cars are super high end. My Superbird is insane because it's all original metal, original everything. All the parts are original. It was you know, what they would call a true survivor when I bought it. And but that doesn't mean that it was in, you know, that it didn't need to be painted, because it did. And so we have, and we're going to be putting that car back into action here real soon. Now, you know what? A lot of people, you know, always question whether or not, you know, I have any passion for Halloween. Okay, and look, there's my pool, and it looks very dirty at the moment. There's a lot of dead frogs in there. Heck, let's get them out while we're here. Also, a lot of people have been asking if I'm gonna make another Mopar video, and the answer is yes, we are. Let's get all these frogs out of here. I don't know how the hell they get in here in the first place. There we go. Let's see if some snake will come along and eat those frogs. Get out of there. So let me give you a little tour around my house, and let's talk about Halloween for just a second. This is the backyard. I'm planning on, you see where that opening is there and that clearing there? We cleared that out. We're gonna put a pond back there. And you can see we have a lot of trees here. And we had two other ones until they crushed the Mopar. Unfortunately. Totally unfortunate. And you know, I'll just get in that car, I swear to God, and I'll just start driving the damn thing. And you'll see that it just drives. Now with one taillight out, it'd be kind of illegal. But let's look around. I want to show you some stuff laying around my house for people who don't think I like Halloween. What is that right there? Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. For those who don't know, Patty is really into tins. So we've really gotten into buying Halloween themed tins. You can see there's another one. And another one. And there's Frankenstein over there saying welcome. There's a rooster. Here's another one, a pumpkin. And more pumpkins. And a cat, a trio of cats actually, saying happy Halloween. Coming back to the Dodge Hellcat Charger. Let's see, I know I have more. Here's one right here. Boo. So is anybody really thinking that I don't love Halloween? Seriously? Have you seen The Darkness? That should tell you everything you need to know. There's a tombstone right there that says, be afraid. Now, who puts this stuff up in their yard year around? Well, you're talking to them. Now, you know, I have to say, kind of getting into the whole home haunter thing, because here you're gonna find another one right here. Let's turn around and take a look. There's another one. I can't help myself when I see these things. I just buy them and plop them in the yard. And then there's another one, a pumpkin. And then you can see I have a storage shed over there. Now you see that willow tree? I planted that myself. I planted one on this side and the other side. And this one grew like a weed. The other one died. But this one grew pretty quickly. And then you can see my house. And not sure if we saw this one right here. Did we? I think we did, right? This cute little ghost. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. Boo. And I have a few more. And then my whole bathroom downstairs is a Halloween themed bathroom. Not that I want to go in there and show you a bathroom, but it is a Halloween themed bathroom. And I thought there was some Halloween tins in here, maybe. Now when that tree fell, it actually kind of destroyed this fountain, which is why it's sitting there. And then you can see right there where it hit my house. And then look at this big old indention, you know, in these pavers right here. Did a lot of damage. You know, not as much as it could have, but it definitely did a lot of damage. And here is my new truck. I bought this the exact day that my poor Challenger over there was destroyed. And this one's called a tungsten. And believe it or not, this thing has massagers in the seat and the back of the seat on both driver's side, you know, and passenger side car seats. Believe it or not. So this is a very luxury type of truck, and of course it's a Dodge, because I really only believe in buying Dodges. See, Ram. And then, you know, here's a golf cart that says The Darkness, of course. What else would it say? But look at this poor situation. So it's going to take a little while to get this all fixed. They're supposed to come here and remove the rest of this, and they're going to take these all the way down. Then I'm going to try to see if I can get a garage here, or possibly like create where this wedge is, like a bigger, you know, maybe extend this over, or just get a garage built for cars, because I love cars. And I can tell you, because you might want to know, like, what kind of cars would I want to buy. I could, and they wouldn't necessarily be Mopars. I'd like to get a 71 Trans Am, white, blue interior, white, blue stripe. I would love to get like a 71 and a half split bumper Z28 Camaro. I'd love to get a I'd love to get a 1981 Camaro Z28. I really like them. I liked all the wild colors all over it. And you know what the first thing I would do is I would pull the engine out of there and replace it, because those engines are super slow. Okay, super slow. They look fast, but they don't drive fast. But as far as getting back to the Mopar world, what Mopars might I get in the future? Well, for one, I'm looking at getting a Dodge 170 Demon to replace that one. So that's the 1,070 horsepower Challenger. So I'm looking at those. But I'm trying to get this whole deal settled first on settling my car. Other cars I would consider in the Mopar world, I mean, I'd love to have a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT. I love it to be a Hemi, of course. I would love to get a 71 Cuda. I would love to get a 71 Roadrunner. I would love to, you know, my dad used to have a 1969 and a half lift-off hood 446 pack Roadrunner. Wouldn't mind one of them. I love GTOs. I'd love to get me a like a 68 Goat. You know, I can't remember what that orange is called. It's called Runner Orange or Grabber Orange. I can't remember what it's called. But I would love to have one of those. I just can't help myself. I like buying cars. The cars I've had in my life, I've had a 70 Camaro. I've had 2 67 Camaros, including one that was probably one of the best in the country. It was a 67 RS SS, turquoise green, 350, turquoise green interior. It was beautiful. I had one of those. I've had 2 Superbirds. I sold one to get money for a down payment for my house. I've had a 1970 Dodge Challenger TA, which was my favorite car I've ever owned. I don't know why I traded it in on the Superbird. I should have never done that because I love driving that car, just driving it every day. So I don't know why I did that. And I wish I could get that car back. And I've also had a 70 RT SE Challenger. It was probably the coolest one you've ever seen. It was B5 blue interior, white vinyl top, white stripes down the side. It was pretty amazing, but it was a 383, so I put a 440 in it that we had built, and I think it was 590 horsepower. I mean, it was deadly. It was deadly. It would kill you. We put a Dodge Viper 5-speed in it, in fact, and it was just monstrous. And so I had that car and I sold it. But anyway, I own a bunch of other Mopars as well. I own a 1970 Plymouth 440 6-pack Cuda, Shaker Cuda, Sublime Green, a 69 Hemi Super B, and a 70 Dodge Challenger Trans Am that's Panther Pink with white interior. So all those cars are in different states of, you know, not being restored at the moment. But the 2 that I'm going to get back are the Superbird and the AAR Cuda. I'm going to get them back very soon. And then we're going to just go from there. And then I'm going to do a video on those. But anyway, I wanted to do a video. Normally I do videos on Halloween. There is a lot of Halloween going on. I might be just a little Halloweened out at the moment because of the fact I've been doing haunt tours. It just seems like we never stopped doing haunt tours from the first year that Transworld was here, even though we didn't do them for a couple years. It just, I don't know, it's mind-boggling, just mind-boggling amount of mental anguish you go through to try to get your haunts open for that one particular day. And it's got me to a point, you know, where I don't really even go to the show anymore, the Halloween show. So I'd like to get that switched around. Right now we're just working on Creepy World. And so we're going to make some videos about Creepy World. We're going to make some videos at Creepy World. And we're going to make some videos talking about all kinds of subjects. Like, for example, the MHC show just ended. And, you know, should the MHC show be, like, should they just cancel that once and for all and just focus on the Eastern Haunt Convention? Or I threw out an idea, what if they just said, hey, we've beaten the Midwest into the ground, especially consider St. Louis is technically the Midwest as well, and then literally take and start a new show like Southeast Haunters Convention or Southwest Haunters Convention. As an example, Southwest would be Arizona, Texas, you know, I guess technically Alabama is considered Southeast, Georgia, Florida, right? Arkansas, I guess, is considered Southeast or Southwest. I don't know. Tennessee would be considered would that be considered Midwest, or would that be considered Southeast? I don't know. I mean, they're all in the Southeastern Conference for football and all that. So, but wouldn't it be great if they just said, you know, we've had enough of MHC, and instead of doing MHC next year, they did, you know, Southeast Haunters Convention. And, you know, their first stop could be in Atlanta, since they have such a great relationship with Netherworld and some haunts in Atlanta, and move the show over there. And then rotate. The next year, do Southwest Haunters Convention. And then maybe come back to Midwest Haunters Convention, and then go back to Southeast, Southwest. And then I don't know if they want to do a West Coast, because I don't think that would be, there's just not a lot of haunts from Kansas City over, other than theme parks. So I don't know what haunts you would tour. I can tell you this, if I was doing a Southeast show, the first place I would consider going is Atlanta. And there's a lot of haunts there that could open for tours. You know, when you're also talking about the Southeast, you're talking about, you know, Florida, but there's not really a lot of haunts there, but Florida's still cool. Okay. Especially if you can get something done with Universal, where you could open up the monster section for a nighttime tour. That would be fantastic. But, you know, I guess Southeast is also would be considered like North Carolina. So you have Charlotte and just all kinds of places in, you know, North Carolina and South Carolina and so on and so forth. But I do think doing Southeast show and putting it in Atlanta would be a lot better than running back another MHC and doing MHC in Chicago for like the 8th year in a row, or maybe just moving MHC altogether. I mean, the options would be like Nashville, Indianapolis. Nashville probably would be the best location for it. So I could definitely see moving MHC to Nashville, but is Nashville technically considered Southeast? That is up for debate, whether it is or it isn't. But either way, I think it would be great if Transworld just kind of sort of diversified. I think they're pretty set on the EHC show, because that thing's doing fantastic. But when it comes to Midwest, I you know, it's nowhere near on the same level as this Eastern Haunt Convention was. Certainly not on the same level as the St. Louis Transworld show. So why not? Why not move Southeast and do Atlanta, Georgia, or go to Texas and do a Southwest show? You know, you could go to Dallas, you could go to, you know, what would be great is to go to San Antonio, Austin. Why not? Tons of stuff to do in Austin, San Antonio. There's a 13th floor there. So if I were to go and do a Southwest show, I would go to San Antonio, Austin. Why not? Because you also, on top of having a 13th floor in San Antonio, you also have House of Torment in Austin. And who wouldn't want to go down to Austin? So there's my choices. Do a Southeast show, go to Atlanta, or do a Southwest show and go to San Antonio, Austin. That's what I would do. I would love to hear your feedback and your comments below. I know, and I'm going to do a whole video about that. A whole video about MHC changing gears and doing something else. But today this video was just to remind you I'm not dead. I'm still alive. I'm gonna make more videos. I also wanted to send my condolences to Ed Trebus' family, and I want to show you my dead Challenger. Completely just devastating to me. And then talk about MHC and wondering what people think, if it would be a better idea to move the show. So kind of a sad day today because of Ed Trebus. What are you gonna do? It's his legacy in the haunt industry is gonna be incredible. It's gonna be remembered for years and years to come, and hopefully they continue to run that haunt and run it better than ever. So with all that being said, sorry that I haven't been around lately. And you see these flowers right here? When my mom was alive, me and her planted this string of flowers, and they're still growing. And the anniversary of her death is coming up in about 2 weeks. And I just thought about that because I went out and visited her gravesite. We planted these together, and they're still here 4 years later. And back to my poor, hurt Dodge Hellcat Redeye that had a tree fall on it. Anyway, folks, take care, and we'll see you very soon.